Hello, and welcome to the 2023 State of the Elmhurst Park District. I'm Kevin Graf, President of the Board of Commissioners for the Elmhurst Park District. I'm excited to be here today, and we'll kick things off with some opening comments, and then I'll turn it over to our Executive Director, Jim Rogers, who will dive into the State of the Park District. This presentation is being recorded today, and there'll be a link posted on our website, Facebook, and our YouTube channel for those who couldn't attend today, so they can view it at their leisure. We believe this method will provide everyone with the opportunity to hear the awesome things the Elmhurst Park District is doing in the community. I'm extremely proud to live in such a great community and humbled to be able to serve you, our residents, while pursuing our mission to enrich lives while having fun. I'd like to acknowledge our other Park Board Commissioners, Vice President Tim Sheehan, Claire Kubisa, Megan Scarcella, Susan Sementek, Vince Spaeth, and Carolyn Ubriaco. We have a great team with wide-ranging experience, and we all have one thing in common: our passion for Elmhurst and the Elmhurst Park District. So what does the Park Board do? Well, we're a 7-member team elected by the residents and serve a 6-year term staggered every 2 years. We are strictly volunteer without compensation. We provide strategic direction, oversight, and policy for the district. Our executive director handles the day-to-day operations and reports to the board. The board approves the budget, large expenditures, and the tax levy. We seek out community input on larger scale projects, park redesigns, playgrounds, but also looking towards the future, like our current strategic planning process we're in the midst of, called Elevate Elmhurst Parks, which will guide us for the next 4+ years. So what does the Elmhurst Park District provide the community? Well, we provide approximately 475 acres of open space, which is maintained by full and part-time staff. We have over 1,000 recreational programs, along with many trips and other services to choose from across every age. We are proud to be the largest youth employer in the community, and we have Courts Plus, a full-service fitness center, and Sugar Creek Golf Course, a 9-hole golf course. The community has 29 parks, 19 playgrounds, with a new one coming called Pick Park in 2024, 68 athletic fields, 2 pools, as well as 4 sled hills for the upcoming snowy months. Speaking of having fun, we've hosted over 10 free community events like Park Palooza, Eldridge Adventure Day, Movies in the Park, and the Easter egg hunt. I can't say fun without saying pickleball, pickleball, pickleball. But let's not forget tennis and other activities like biking the many miles of trails or just taking a stroll on the north path of the Great Western Prairie, the oldest thing in Elmhurst. But near and dear to my heart, which I'm really excited about, is Elmhurst's first dog park, Canine Corner, which is opening in 2024. Needless to say, there's a lot that you can do at the Elmhurst Park District. So, how long have we been having fun at the Elmhurst Park District? Well, the Elmhurst Park District was formed over 100 years ago in 1920. We serve almost 10 square miles for nearly 47,000 residents across 16,500 households. Elmhurst is a strong community with a $3 billion EAV, which is equalized assessed value. Since 2017, we've had a AAA1 bond rating for our fiscal year from January 1 to December 31st, with a 2023 budget of $26 million and a proposed $30 million budget for 2024. Our tax rate for 2022 was only 0.328 on every $100 of our assessed value, or 5.5 cents on every tax dollar, and we are in the lower third quadrant of other agencies in DuPage County. I, as well as the Park Board, feel very proud of what Elmhurst Park District accomplishes with these tax dollars. On behalf of your Park Board, we say thank you, and we look forward to continuing to serve you and providing you more opportunity and value to the community. Now I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Jim Rogers, to provide some details around 2023 and beyond. Jim?
Thanks very much, Kevin. Good evening. Again, as President Graf said, very pleased to be here tonight and excited to share all the goings-on at the Park District for 2023, and as he said, looking ahead to next year. Everything that the Park District does is built around our mission, vision, and values. Our mission is to enrich lives while having fun, and we certainly look to espouse that each day. What I'd like to start off with is looking at reviewing some of the highlights and accomplishments that the district achieved during this past year. We'll start off, as Commissioner Graf alluded to, with the Elevate Elmhurst Parks Planning Initiative. We are in the midst of updating our comprehensive and strategic plans, which guide really everything that we do at the district, from our programs and services to park and facility development. We are, as I said, in the midst of that and have been for the entire year. And really what it has entailed is just a tremendous amount of input from the residents of this community. We developed a project website that the community visited a great deal. We had over 16,000 site visits to our website with opportunities to provide information on an idea wall and an interactive map, as well as some online surveys. We formed a steering committee made up of community leaders in the community, a staff team, and then we also, the consultants that we worked with on the project also conducted one-on-one interviews with Kevin and other members of the park board. We held engagement pop-up events at a number of our facilities and special events during the course of the year. We offered community open houses, we held focus groups, and then most importantly, we conducted 2 surveys. It was the same survey instrument, but one was a statistically valid random sample of the community, and that was completed by more than 400 households. And then in addition, we had that same survey available at all of our facilities and online for any residents who wanted to complete it, and we had over 450 responses to that. In addition, because our staff is such a critical component of what we do, we conducted an employee culture survey as well. And I'll speak a little bit more about the Elevate Elmhurst Parks plan and what it's going to lead to later in the presentation. Next, another thing we're very pleased about that has happened this year is that we are in the midst of transitioning to new registration software called ActiveNet. This was brought about due to the failure of our prior software on the first day of registration a number of times over the years, and so the board made the decision that we would look to a better solution, and that is in the midst right now. We've been communicating about that change since June via social media, our website, video FAQs, and right now, this month in November, households are verifying their accounts and making sure everything is up to date. If you're watching this video and you haven't done that, please go out and make sure you take care of that. Our first registration date that will take place with the new software is coming up on Saturday, December 9th, and will feature programs that can be found in our winter brochure, which was just made available to the community recently. And just so everyone is clear, that new software will provide access to all of our program registration as well as memberships and rentals. Another thing we're very excited about is the fact that we completed the restoration of Sugar Creek at Sugar Creek Golf Course. This was a 2-year project and was undertaken to ensure the long-range sustainability of the creek itself, where it had really built up a lot of sediment over the years and the shoreline was failing. So we're excited that we've restored the creek, and this will serve communities both upstream and downstream of it, and then also secure the long-term livelihood of the golf course. This was a project that cost approximately $1.2 million, and we're very pleased to note that more than half of that cost has been covered through grants from the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency and DuPage County. I could say every project I talk about, or every initiative we talk about, I'd want to say I'm proud of, but we're especially pleased. We resurfaced the 2 south tennis courts at Wilder Park. These are the ones that are most closely adjacent to the Wilder Mansion. And what's exciting about this is not only did we resurface those 2 courts, but we had resurfaced the 2 north courts back last year in 2022, so all have been redone now in the past 2 years. Commissioner Graf alluded to our newest park that is coming online, is online, but will be developed in 2024, called Pick Park. That is in the Pick subdivision. For those of you who may not be aware, the Pick subdivision is a neighborhood that is in Elmhurst and within the Park District. It is west of Route 83 and north of St. Charles Road, kind of along Salt Creek. We christened the park just last year, but now we're in the midst of developing it. We completed architectural and engineering services for that new park this year. And then we were very pleased that we were awarded a grant from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources called an OSLAD grant, and that stands for Open Space Land Acquisition and Development, that will cover half the cost of that project. It's a project that will cost about $680,000, and that grant will cover $340,000 of that cost. So we're very excited about that, and I'll talk a little bit more about the development of the park itself a little bit later. One of the other important things that we have to do is maintain the communities and the park district's existing assets, and one of the big ways that we did that last year excuse me, was that we replaced the tennis ceiling and wall liner and painted all of the exposed trusses on the tennis courts at Courts Plus. Our tennis program, combined with pickleball that Commissioner Graf mentioned earlier, are very, very popular programs and activities in this community, and so we want to make sure that we continue to have a facility that meets those needs. We are taping this presentation and presenting it from our Kies Recreation Center, and I'm pleased to note that we received a grant from the state of Illinois that was spearheaded by State Senator Susie Gloyak Hilton for the Park District to receive $250,000 that will help us partially fund an update of the kitchen and the dining hall and gymnasium flooring in this facility. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about those when we talk about 2024, but again, very, very pleased to have received that grant to help fund that. Commissioner Graf also alluded to another project that we're all very excited about at the Park District, and that being the dog park. I'll talk again more about what we're doing in 2024 in a moment, but we did complete our architectural and engineering services for that, and so that is going to become a reality, and we're very, very much looking forward to that. Next, I want to mention something that's been on the minds of many Elmhurst residents was the future of the former Lazadro Museum building. Pleased to note that we have taken down the empty building, and now the board staff and the community will have an opportunity to sort of reimagine what might be possible at this location in Wilder Park. As we all know, Wilder Park is really kind of the gem of parks in the center of Elmhurst, and we look forward to this opportunity to really consider specifically what could be done there. And then next, each year we replace, I should say, one of our playgrounds in the park system, and then look at what opportunities there are to enhance that specific park. This year in 2023, that park was Ben Allison Park, which is on the east side of town on West Avenue, south of St. Charles Road. It opened earlier this fall to great acclaim. One of the kind of fun things and neat things that happened at that grand opening, when you see the park board here in the picture at the ribbon cutting, that park is named for former mayor of Elmhurst, Benjamin Allison. His son, and by the same namesake, also served on the park board. And so what was really neat the day of this ribbon cutting is that it kind of turned into a mini family reunion for the Allison family, as there were multiple generations of their family who came out to celebrate with us. But the neighborhood is ecstatic about the new park, and we're excited about the new playground features. Next, kind of heading back to Wilder Park, again, kind of the gem of our community, and really the focal point of that for, as Commissioner Graf alluded to, over 100 years, is the Wilder Park Conservatory and our greenhouses. And this year we completed repairs to our shade system and venting systems that allow us to keep the conservatory and the plants in it looking so magnificent as maintained by our horticultural staff year-round. So that's kind of the highlights of what took place in the big picture highlights of what took place in 2023. Now I'd like to shift gears a little bit and talk about what type of things do we have planned for 2024. And this is our strategic work plan. And the strategic work plan is something that is driven by our current plan. And our current plan right now is the Vision 2020 plan. As Commissioner Graf alluded to and I mentioned, we are transitioning right now and kind of straddling between the Vision 2020 plan and the Elevate Elmhurst Parks plan. But as relates to 2024, earlier this year, the board approved specific tactics and initiatives that we will undertake in 2024. And then as the Elevate Elmhurst Parks plan comes online in early 2024, we will be updating that plan as well. So what's in store? As I go through each of these slides, you'll see a number of bullet points. I'm going to specifically speak about the ones that are highlighted in green. The ones that are not highlighted in green are more project related, and I'll speak later on in the presentation about projects. But in each of these slides talks about one of the specific areas of focus for the Park District, the first one being parks. And one of the things here that we want to mention is that we're going to be continuing to expand our park operations staffing. As the Park District in recent years has grown by adding parks and adding amenities, it's important for us to expand our staffing so that we can continue to maintain each of the district parks at the standard expected by the community. Next, from the facilities perspective, again, some projects that I'll highlight in a little bit, but same message here is that we're looking to expand our facility operation staffing. Again, I'm standing in one of the district's brand new facilities. We'll be bringing other types of facilities, be they playgrounds or the dog park online in 2024, and so we will be looking to expand our staffing to address the operational needs there as well. Looking then at programming, which takes place throughout the district, the biggest thing we want to highlight here is that we will be implementing what we call our dog park operating plan. Dog park is new to the Elmhurst Park District, and so we've put together a staff team that's looking at everything, how we will maintain the park, what the hours will be, memberships and all of that, and so we're excited that that will be coming to pass. As Commissioner Graf alluded to earlier, we were very excited literally just 2 days ago that the Park Board officially named the park Canine Corner, and you see on the slide here, we've mocked up what the future park sign will look like at that location, so we're very excited about that. The park will open next fall, and memberships will be available and sold later in the year. And for any of you wondering, yes, your dog will be required to have its shot, so you may want to start to plan in advance for that, if, of course, you haven't already got that taken care of. Next, another priority for the Park District is communications, and our goal here is to provide an exceptional and consistent guest experience. The two ways that we're looking to do that in 2024 are continuing to become more equitable and inclusive. We want to make sure that we are able to connect with and provide services and programs that meet the needs of all residents of our ever increasingly diverse community, so we're excited about that. And then in addition, I mentioned earlier with the ActiveNet registration software that we've been communicating about that change, but that communication and customer outreach will continue throughout the year, as we know that there are some folks, as I mentioned, our first registration will be for winter programs, but you and your household might participate not in winter programs, but in summer camps or in swim lessons or something later in the year. So we will continue to communicate to make sure that everyone is ready and able to access that new registration software. Moving then to finances. As with any government agency like ours or any business, Commissioner Graf alluded to the finances a little bit of the district. One of our key focus areas here is to make sure that we have sustainable revenue strategies and funding options, and particularly in this case, during 2023 and moving into 2024, a focal area of ours has been to seek sponsorships to help fund the construction of the dog park. That will continue in 2024, but I'm very pleased to note for the community that in addition, this past Monday night to formally christening the name of Canine Corner, the Park Board was also pleased to accept 2 lead sponsorships for a couple of the amenities at the park. The first was a donation for a sponsorship for a 20 by 40 foot shelter that will be at the park from longtime Elmhurst veterinarian and resident John DeVries and his wife Linda, while the second sponsorship was for the entry plaza with dog sculpture and a bench from Commissioner Graf and his wife Michelle Flum. Staff efforts, as I said, to secure additional funding sponsorships will continue, and if that's something that intrigues you or interests you, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Park District, and we'd love to work with you on that. You see a little sneak peek on the screen here of some of the opportunities that are available. Next, moving on to an area, a priority of ours that we call internal operations, and this is around strengthening the district's organizational culture. As you might imagine, staff really drive everything that the Park District offers to the community, so it is critically important that we have a strong organizational culture that enables it to attract and retain the best and the brightest. So some of our focal areas here will be to create succession and employee training plans. Our staff earlier this year launched a mentorship program that full-time employees could take advantage of, and we have about 70 full-time employees at the district, but I would say more importantly, we have over 700 part-time employees, and so we're also looking to implement a mentorship program for those part-time staff as well. And then we're also continuing, as I mentioned earlier, we're continuing to look at ways that we can be diverse and equitable and inclusive to provide a real feeling of belonging for all of our staff through training opportunities and just learning opportunities and how we can be better about that. I'd now like to move forward and looking at some of the exciting projects that we have underway for 2024. You'll notice some common themes as a number of these projects have been ones that have kind of carried over and been multi-year initiatives. The first is the completion of the dog park. We are very, very excited. As we've said, this is a project that has been in the planning stages for a number of years to be at a piece of property that the Park District acquired back in 2017. You see on the screen here, in addition to the cute little dog rolling around, a copy of what the master plan will look like. The plan is that we will begin work early in 2024, and as I mentioned earlier, that it will open in the fall. Again, continuing the theme, PIC Park development, for which I mentioned we received that really significant grant. That work also will begin this coming spring, and that park is planned to open in the summer. And as I said, the PIC Park neighborhood is very excited, but as should all Elmhurst residents be, because it will be open for the entire community. One of the exciting things about this, and you might notice it a little bit on that drawing there, kind of to the top part of that where you see the outline of the playground, this park is adjacent to the Salker Greenway Trail. So if you live on the east side of the creek in Elmhurst and you're thinking about wanting to access this, it would be a terrific walk or bike ride to make your way right over to it when it's done next summer. Next, I mentioned that this year we redeveloped Ben Allison Park, and the park that is up next on our replacement schedule for next year is in 2024 is Pioneer Park. Pioneer Park is a park that is located right off the Prairie Path between York Road and Spring Road. We got a tremendous amount of community input on the planning of this. The Park Board has approved a new master plan for redeveloping the park, so we're very excited to do that as well. That project will begin in summer, so the playground will be park and playground will be open and available until summer, and then it will be closed during the summer as we undertake the redevelopment efforts and then open in the fall. So if you're looking to make plans for this coming fall, we'll have lots of new and exciting opportunities and also a number of ribbon cuttings if you want to consider coming out to join us. Again, continuing that theme of projects carrying over from 2023 to 2024. This is the project that I mentioned we received that grant from the state of Illinois, and we're very excited that we will be updating, I should say, the kitchen here at the Kies Recreation Center and turning it into a really, really nice and full-scale instructional kitchen for cooking programs. Those are one of the things in the Elevate Elmhurst Parks planning process that came out loud and clear that the community would like to see us undertake those, and we were excited that this project was already underway, so we're looking forward to that. And then in addition, right across the hall from where we are tonight, we have our gymnasium that serves not only for athletic programming, but also as the dining hall for our senior citizen luncheons here at the Kies Center. And so we're looking forward to this project. This project itself will not be one that takes place in the summer, but instead will occur just after the first of the year and will be completed by spring. Next, a really exciting opportunity. We know that there is a demand, and I'll speak about it in more detail later, but for more programming through the Park District, and one of our biggest challenges is having enough facility space to offer those programs. So we're looking at entering into an agreement with the Ray Graham Association to make use of their Elmhurst Community Learning Center that is on Madison Avenue west of Spring Road. They have a facility there that is a former elementary school, and we're looking to partner with them to come together and refurbish a gymnasium in that building, and that would allow, and then enter into an agreement that would allow the Park District and therefore the community to use that gymnasium and even some adjacent programming space on weeknights and on weekends when the Ray Graham Association is not making use of it. So we're excited to partner with the Ray Graham Association and appreciate their cooperation with us and look forward to that coming online next year. Kind of a recurring theme right now around partnership opportunities. Butterfield Park has the district's largest baseball diamond. It's Butterfield Ball Diamond number 1. And that is a partner and shared facility between the Park District community and Elmhurst University. And we will be looking at making some significant upgrades to that facility, including installing a modern backstop netting system, replacing the fencing, upgrading the warning tracks and dugout, and even replacing the scoreboard. And this will be completed through a partnership with Elmhurst University, who will be partially funding the project. And again, just like with the Ray Graham Association, we thank them for their partnership and their support. Next, turning back towards Wilder Park, we will be completing some masonry repairs and landscape bed improvements to the formal gardens. Wilder Park is the park in the Elmhurst Park District system that receives the most use really from kind of that casual park user being such a large passive park. And so in addition to the mansion and the Wilder Mansion and the conservatory that I mentioned before, the formal gardens there adjacent to the conservatory are a very high priority of ours, and we'll be undertaking some repairs to keep that in tip-top shape. Speaking of keeping things in tip-top shape, this is one of those projects that our park board values and fully understands. It's not the sexiest project in the world, but there's the understanding. It's kind of like taking care of, if you live in a residential home, your own driveway. You need to seal coat sometimes, and then eventually, over time, you might need to repave. So each year we undertake paving projects. We have dozens of parking lots and walking paths that need to be maintained. And so this year we will be repaving at Butterfield Park, with a parking lot there at Wilder Park, with the north parking lot there adjacent to the tennis courts we resurfaced this year, and then also the main center walking path in Eldridge Park. We do these to ensure that they are safe for pedestrian and vehicular use, also improves ADA accessibility and makes sure that they're accessible for all users. Next, as many of you, if not all of you know, the district operates 2 outdoor pools, Smalley Pool towards the south end of town and then East End Pool more in the center north end of town. We will be sandblasting and repainting the pool surface. Again, not a project that sounds very exciting, but is well appreciated by all pool users. Historically, what we have done for the last 16 years since the pool opened was we have chipped layers of paint and repainted the pool surfacing in-house. However, after so many years, it's gotten to the point, just like some of the things you might be doing at home, where the layers of paint have just gotten too much for new paint to adhere. So we're going to go in, sandblast it down to the concrete, and repaint it, and it'll have a nice, smooth, safe finish for the upcoming pool season. So we're excited about that. Turning back then to Courts Plus, I mentioned earlier that we had completed work on replacing and repairing and updating the ceilings in the tennis pods. This project, where we talk about the metal roof and restoring it, these are the roofs on top of the tennis pods there at Courts Plus. They're over 30 years old and starting to exhibit signs of wear and tear after that many years of use and exposure to the elements. So we're undertaking a project to restore them. And one of the most exciting things about this is that we have an opportunity that we are investigating to see if there's a possibility to look at working on making this a solar project as well, where we might have the opportunity to install solar panels on top of the roof at Courts Plus and then get a majority of the funding or cost for that project covered through grant funding in exchange for putting those solar panels on the roof. It would obviously help with the funding of the project, but also potentially reduce the district's energy costs in the long term. So we're excited about that. So I've talked a lot about our upcoming initiatives and our upcoming projects. What I want to touch on a little bit here is circling back to the Elevate Elmhurst Parks. As we move forward with that plan, as we map our future, as I said, we've received a lot of feedback from the community, and we've heard that the community highly values and participates with the Park District and wants more. The findings from the study and plan have found that 96% of households who responded to our survey said they visited a park in the last year, while 61% of those same households have participated in programs. And that participation number is especially high. It compares to a national average. I should say it's nearly double the national average of the firm that did our survey finds in other communities across the country. And some of the major highlights that came out of the planning process is that the Park District, and this is again what the community and what the findings of all the efforts have told us, is that the Park District has an excellent array of well-maintained parks and facilities with diverse programming opportunities, but there is a high demand for programming. There sometimes are long wait lists in some of our core program areas. Program availability is limited by a lack of indoor recreation space. We have some outdated facilities that need to be upgraded and expanded to include things like walking tracks and gymnasium space, and that the community wants more maintenance of outdoor athletic fields. However, while the district's finances are healthy and in very good condition and will absolutely enable us to continue to provide our current level of services, we are not able to provide everything. We are not able, to afford to provide everything that the community wants. Based on the potential costs and the Park District's available budget and debt limits, additional funding will be required in order for the community's priorities to become a reality. Potential funding could include, but is not limited to, more partnerships and grants like the many that I have discussed during this presentation. We are very pleased to have been able to secure hundreds of thousands of dollars during this past year to support and fund a number of these significant projects. But if we are really able to address what the community wants, it will be necessary for taxpayers to support and pass a referendum, just like they have done in years past for the library and schools in Elmhurst. If you are not aware, the last time the Elmhurst Park District went to referendum was 1972. And speaking of the district's financials, I want to share, and Commissioner Graf alluded to this as well, so it's kind of bookending our presentation here. You may not be aware, but of every property tax dollar that each resident pays in this community, the Park District receives just over 5 cents of that dollar to provide the vast array of programs and services that I discussed and that Commissioner Graf described in detail earlier as well. He also alluded to this chart, and this chart, it's a lot to look at on the screen, but I'll draw your attention to that green bar kind of to the right end of that. This is a chart that shows the tax rates for every park district in DuPage County as of 2022. And that green bar represents where the Elmhurst Park District lies. And so as Commissioner Graf alluded to, we are in the lower 1/3 of all park district tax rates in DuPage County. So we understand and we hear that the community wants and desires more programs and services to be comparable with some of these other communities that you see here listed, but there's going to have to be additional financial considerations to try to make some of those things happen. So again, we're very, very pleased to present this State of the District for the Elmhurst Park District for 2023. Each year that we do this, it's an exciting time. There are many projects that we look back on that we're proud to have accomplished, and we're excited about what the coming year brings. This year, I think even more so with the advent of Elevate Elmhurst Parks and what it will look for and what it will lead to in the future. With that, I thank you very much for watching and attending this presentation. If you have questions as we're completing things tonight, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Park District. When we post this online, we'll have information about ways you can specifically reach us. Thank you very much.